It's the opening round of the 2013 World Rally Championship, and the iconic challenge of the Monte Carlo Rally has provided us with true winter conditions. Nine-time world champion Sébastien Loeb returns to the event. He's won on 6 occasions, but only a part-time campaign this year. The imperious Frenchman will not defend his title. Mikko Hirvonen is now Citroen's #1, and after finishing as runner-up in the championship 4 times, will start the year as one of the favourites to take his teammate's crown. The big news, though, for the start of the new campaign is the long-awaited arrival of Volkswagen into the WRC fold. The big-hitting German marque debuting the Polo R WRC. VW also boasts one of the most exciting driver lineups for years. 7-time rally winner Sébastien Ogier returns after a year spent developing his new ride. And joining Ogier is former Ford star Jari Latvala, an undoubted natural talent. The Flying Finn will be another name to watch in 2013. And replacing Latvala as the team leader at the rebranded Qatar M Sport World Rally team is Mads Osberg. The young Norwegian will look to improve on his fine 4th-place championship finish last season. An overnight snowfall gave the WRC elite an early taste of the Monte's likely conditions, and there was a trouble-free run for both Volkswagens. Latvala the quickest of the two with the 5th best time. Evgeny Novikov is already showing good pace for the 3rd fastest time, the Russian youngster lining up alongside Osberg as the nominated point scorer at Qatar M Sport. 2nd fastest in the 3.6-kilometre shakedown stage was Monte Loeb, the Citroen star just a 10th of a second quicker than Novikov in the treacherous conditions. But leading the way with a time a 1.5 seconds faster than the rest of the field was Thierry Neuville. The Belgian is a new recruit at M Sport after switching camps from Citroen and has clearly adapted to the Fiesta RS in no time at all. The 81st Rallye Monte-Carlo begins with stage 1 at 9 o'clock on Wednesday morning. The 2013 WRC season is underway with the traditional season opener in Monte Carlo. Sébastien Loeb is only attending 4 rallies this season, and the treacherous pass through Monte Carlo is one of his favourite stops in the rally calendar. A winner here 6 times, the 9-time world champion is in his element despite the snow-covered roads. The Citroen star, unsurprisingly again the man to beat. Mikko Hirvonen is the new #1 at the Citroen team and is one of the favourites to take his teammate's crown. The mixture of snow and gravel are not his favourite conditions, though, and Mikko couldn't find the balance between saving the tyres and attacking, finishing day 1 in 3rd place. Jari Latvala gave us a first glimpse of the new Volkswagen Polo R, but he suffered setup issues in the morning and a 30-second time penalty for arriving late at the start of stage 2. Jari's still learning the car and is happy to line 5th position after day 1. Latvala's VW teammate Sébastien Ogier, though, had a sensational start to the new season. The Frenchman won the Polo's very first stage for the German manufacturer, beating Sébastien Loeb by 3.7 seconds at the end of day 1. Ogier is 2nd overall. But at the end of the opening leg, the Monte Master Loeb is out in front again. Thierry Neuville was the first victim of the Monte roads, breaking his suspension on his Ford Fiesta after an off in stage 4. A frosty and cold start of day 2 as Sébastien Loeb is sitting in his usual 1st place in Monte Carlo with an overnight lead of 1 minute and 20 seconds. However, with heavy snow covering the roads, it could be a case of sweeping duties for the world champion. French rival Sébastien Ogier starts in a very impressive 2nd place overall in his new Volkswagen Polo R, and he carried on his fine form by taking time out of the 9-time world champion after the first 2 stages of day 2. Citroen's new #1 driver Mikko Hirvonen is very frustrated as he tries to find his rhythm. His classic Monte conditions are proving very difficult for the 2010 winner, and he needs to build on his confidence and pace. Danny Sordo's returned to the Citroen fold, and he moved above Hirvonen into 3rd place, adding more pressure on the Finn. The snow isn't the Spaniard's favourite terrain, but with these impressive times, he's proving why his services are in demand from the French marque. The star of the morning, Luke, though, was Russia's Evgeny Novikov, the fastest man through stage 6. He's climbed up to 5th. The Russian rocket in total command on these high-altitude stages. He'll no doubt be seeking a podium finish for Qatar M Sport. Jari Latvala, meanwhile, completes the top 6 in his Volkswagen Polo R, and he'll want to start climbing the leaderboard in the afternoon stages. Afternoon pass on the 2nd day of Rallye Monte-Carlo saw the drivers compete with ever-changing conditions in the mountains of southeast France. Sébastien Loeb carried on with his dominant form and remains in full control as the 2nd day came to a close. He extended his advantage over the chasing pack, to 1 minute and 35 seconds. Loeb's closest challenger is Volkswagen's Sebastian Ogier, who is very comfortable in second place. The VW Polo R is impressing on its debut WRC event on these very tough Monte Carlo conditions. Danny Sordo completes the top three with a very noteworthy afternoon. The Citroën driver has had a very consistent drive through the final 4 stages, cementing himself in third. Hot on the Spaniards' heels, though, is Evgeny Novikov, who has sustained his morning's pace and closed the gap on Danny Sordo to just 15 seconds. The Qatar M Sport driver had 2 fastest stage times today, proving he has the potential to go all the way in the WRC. It's been a disappointing day for 2 of the Finnish drivers. Mikko Hirvonen has failed to push on and apply pressure for third place, whilst Jari-Matti Latvala in his new VW Polo R is yet to gain the confidence he needs to really compete on these torturous conditions. So after day 2 here in Monte Carlo, this is how the leaderboard looks. A winter wonderland greeted the drivers on day 3 of Rallye Monte-Carlo as they embark on 3 stages on the penultimate leg. Up first, the 33 kilometres of Saint-Jean-en-Royan. Jari-Matti Latvala, who admitted to be very unhappy with his performance over the past 2 days, is much more content today. He finished 4th quickest on the first stage of the day. Former teammate Mikko Hirvonen is still suffering from confidence issues with his Citroën DS3 and sits in 5th. He needs to resolve any concerns if he's to keep Jari-Matti at bay. The battle of day 2 continues between Evgeny Novikov and Danny Sordo. Evgeny had the drive of his career yesterday and has continued to electrify in these freezing conditions. Sordo, who ended the day 15 seconds ahead of Evgeny, suffered a spin on the latter part of the 11th stage, and Novikov punished him by cutting his lead down to 7 seconds. Sordo cannot afford any more mistakes today if he's to hold on to his podium place. The Volkswagen Polo R is having a dream debut. Sebastian Ogier is over 70 seconds ahead in second place, and only major issues will prevent him from a podium start to the season now. And top of the pile is the master, Sebastian Loeb, who said he was taking no risks on this morning's stage as he enjoys the picturesque stages of Monte Carlo. Day 3 of Rallye Monte-Carlo in the afternoon saw the team start to head south where conditions were just as intense. Tyre choice played a vital role this afternoon as the stages were a combination of dry asphalt with patches of ice and snow. Sebastian Loeb stuck with his cautious approach in the afternoon, taking no risks and cruising to what looks like victory number 7 in Monte Carlo. It was the same approach for Volkswagen Sebastian Ogier, who finished the penultimate day in second, over 1.5 minutes ahead of the fighting pack. It was all changed between the battle of the Finns. Mikko Hirvonen had a disastrous day in his Citroën DS3, whilst it was the contrary for Jari-Matti Latvala, who has now full confidence in his Volkswagen Polo R. He took 38 seconds out of Hirvonen's time on the final stage, moving up to 5th place. The story of the rally is all about the 3rd and final place of the podium. A spin cost Danny Sordo in the morning and rocked his confidence, and Evgeny Novikov took full advantage of the Spaniard's mistake. Evgeny posted the 2nd fastest time on Saint-Nazaire-le-Désert to give himself a cushion of 8 seconds going into the final stage of the 3rd day. But the Spaniard showed his fighting spirit and closed the gap to 1.7 seconds on the 36 kilometres of Sisteron. This epic battle will continue on day 4 and no doubt will go right down to the wire. Snow, ice and heavy rain was waiting for the drivers on the first run of the Col de Turini, and it proved to be even more difficult than the drivers had first feared. During the first of 3 runs, this daunting stage took 3 victims. Evgeny Novikov's ambitions of a podium finish came to an abrupt end early on in stage 14 when he lost control and ripped a wheel off his Qatar M Sport Ford Fiesta. A devastating end to his fantastic performance here in Monte Carlo. The second casualty of the day was Volkswagen's Jari-Matti Latvala, who hit one of Turini's unforgiving walls, and he was out too. Both driver and co-driver were unharmed. Fellow Finn Juha Hänninen was the third man to fall foul when his car failed to cope with the conditions as well, and he lost his front left wheel. So Danny Sordo now looks set to complete the podium here. Despite describing Col de Turini as the hardest conditions he's ever driven, he went on to win the 15th test in Monte-Carlo. Mads Osberg suffered a puncture when he went wide on the second run through and was overtaken by Brian Bouffier, who moved up to 5th. The 81st Rallye Monte-Carlo has drawn to a close, and what an event it's been. Extreme weather conditions from the very first stage, and still the great Sébastien Loeb comes out on top. Victory number 7 for the Frenchman in Monte-Carlo as he enjoys his retirement in style. Loeb led from the second stage and never looked in danger of losing his place, and won by over 90 seconds. As one career ends, another begins. The Volkswagen Polo R finishes second on its debut event, with pilot Sébastien Ogier driving to perfection. There is reason to be excited at VW as they have a dream start to 2013. Danny Sordo was in the battle of the weekend with Qatar M Sport's Evgeny Novikov and came out on top to complete the podium. A fantastic reunion with the Citroën Abu Dhabi World Rally team as he scores 15 points in his DS3. There was pandemonium on the Col de Turini though. The 23-kilometre road ended Evgeny Novikov's campaign while the Russian was sitting in third. And Finnish duo Jari-Matti Latvala and Juho Hänninen also crashed out of the top 7 on the final day. Safety issues brought the Rallye Monte-Carlo to a premature end as the final 2 stages were cancelled due to safety concerns for the thousands of fans who'd gathered on the stages.